Patrick, it's an absolute pleasure to bump into you at the Mechanics Chess Club here.
Thank you. It's wonderful to see you. I'm a huge fan of your videos, so it's a pleasure for me too.
Thank you. That's so kind of you. I have read so much about you. You've done so much yourself, such a strong player, but also a second to Vishy Anand, and also a director here at the Mechanics Chess
Yep, I'm on
Club.
the board of trustees of the Mechanics Institute. That's right.
Wow. And just being here, how does it feel for you? You came here, you were playing against Vinay Bhatt, you played against Magesh Chandran, just playing chess.
I love it. It's fun. I mean, this is a wonderful spot in San Francisco. It's the Mechanics Institute. It's a membership library. We've been in the same building since 1907, I think. The original building was destroyed in the 1906 earthquake. And so we have a wonderful library and, of course, a wonderful chess club. The history here is incredible. And we also have electronic boards, so it's the best of the 19th century and the 21st century. It's a lot of fun.
So cool. And you yourself have had an illustrious career. 92 was when you won the US Championships?
Yeah, 1992 and again in 1995.
Wow. And then how did this collab with Vishy happen? Because you helped him for his World Championship match?
Yeah, so actually it's interesting. Vishy and I got to know each other in the 1984 World Junior Chess Championship. I actually have a plus score against Vishy because I won this game with him. It's a very funny game. Now, it should be said, I think Vishy took all of about 5 minutes to play the game. And once he learned that if he took 15 or 20 minutes, his results would go up, well, we know what happened. But still, and Vishy and I became friends, and then we were friends several years after when he won the World Junior Chess Championship in 1987. I came in fourth. And that was a time when Vishy and I were spending time together. So we'd just become friendly. And then in 1992, in the spring of 1992, out of nowhere, I get a phone call from Vishy. He tells me he's going to be playing a match against Ivanchuk in Linares. And he wanted me to work with him to be his second. So, yeah, I mean, this was an unbelievable opportunity. I liked Vishy. At this point, of course, Vishy was already one of the best players in the world. It was an incredible...
He had just won the Reggio Emilia at that time.
Yes, incredible opportunity from my perspective. I was very, very honored he chose me. And we worked together, and he won the match against Ivanchuk. This actually began a pattern. He won the match against Ivanchuk, and I, after spending a month and a half working every day with Vishy, came back home and won the US Chess Championship. I found that actually working with Vishy was about 50 ELO points for me. Yeah, it was amazing.
And those were the times when engines were not that strong, or I don't know, were you using engines while preparing?
So I will tell you, this is very true, and I'll bet you Vishy remembers this. What we would do is we would set the chess position up and we'd put it in the engine and let the engine run all night. And then we'd come back the next morning and see if the engine had any interesting ideas. And sometimes it would and sometimes it wouldn't. Now, of course, it's the other way around. The engine puts us to work for a day and sees whether one of us has a good idea. But back in those days, it was different. So yeah, it was incredible fun. The match itself was terrific. I actually wrote a long article about my experience working with Vishy in 1992. And I not only worked with him for, not just me, it was also John Spielman, Arthur Yusupov. Oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. I'm forgetting the fourth person. I didn't know him as well. But anyway.
Was it Ubilava?
Yeah, yes, Ubilava, that's right. Thank you so much. So sorry. So the four of us were working with Vishy for the World Championship match against Gary. But I also worked with Vishy in several of his candidates matches, against Romanishin, against Yusupov. So I actually was Vishy's second several times. It was a great relationship. Vishy, of course,
what about
is wonderful.
Vishy did you like the most on the board as a player and off the board as a person?
On the board as a player, Vishy has just, of course his calculating ability is phenomenal, we all know this, but he also has a tremendous feel for the placement of the pieces and the trade-off of the initiative for material. He's just really, really good at seeing when something should be moved to a different place, when it's worth a pawn to get activity. He was just excellent at that, of course, and his calculation was extraordinary. And at the time when we were working together, he was only just beginning to develop the incredible professionalism that he developed in the openings. And just the beginning, in 1992, 93, 94, 95, by the time he became world chess champion, I think he was just above everybody else in terms of the amount of knowledge he had developed in the opening, his ability to go deep and to go broad and cover all sorts of things. So just amazing. Off the board, look, what can I say? We all know this, but Vishy's just a really nice guy. He has the tremendous will that all the great chess players have, but without the same ego. It's really unique and it's wonderful. And it's why, from my perspective, it was a pleasure to work with Vishy. And I won't say it was always easy, because of course there were moments, especially during the World Championship match against Gary, which was a tough one since he lost. Of course there's always moments when it's difficult, but it's difficult because the moment is difficult, never because Vishy's difficult, And I mean, it was just, and we remained friends for many, many years. We're still friendly, of course. I just haven't seen him in many years, but he's just a great guy. I mean, he is who you see, and I just think it's just such a wonderful thing, and it's why people love him so much.
Are you still surprised that he's still active? Like, he keeps playing even now?
He's done an amazing job. I mean, I think this may literally be true, that not since Viktor Korchnoi has someone remained as strong as Vishy in his 50s. It's really impressive. I think he's legitimately still 2,700 and not even really playing full time anymore. It's it's just fun. But he just has this love for the game. I'll tell you, at one point when we were working together for Ivanchuk, Vishy told me, this is back in 1992, he said, Pat, I was, I never really worked that hard at chess, but then I got to 2,600, and that was back, by the way, when very few people were 2,600. And he said, but then I realized if I really worked at it, I could get good. And of course, he had gotten to a higher level than I had gotten to without, in his mind, really working at it. So it was an interesting perspective. There's just that love of the game. He's just always thinking about it. It comes so naturally to him. And I think it was just hard for him to learn that if he just forced himself to go deeper and work harder, he could take his game up a level, because it always came so naturally to him. But of course he did. And he became one of the great players of all time.
It's amazing. And hearing from you all these things is so fascinating, because you spent so much time with him back in the day when, we don't have so much
back in the old days,
access to information or videos and photos. Yeah. So this is just gold, what you are sharing. It's amazing. You yourself also played against Gary at some point.
Yes.
And you beat him in a simul.
Yes.
But the thing what people should know is that when Gary played simuls, he used to take it as seriously as a one-on-one game.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So Gary, for those people who are not a student of history or as old as I am, Gary Kasparov used to, after became world chess champion in the 1980s, he went and played teams of people. So he played like the German national team and like Olympian teams. Like he just, it was extraordinary. He played 4 people, 6 people at the same time, clock simuls, with regulation tournament play, time control. So he played the top 6 juniors, US juniors, in New York, in 1988. And I was the top junior, so I was board 1. And there was Alex Fishbein, Stuart Rachels, Ilya Gurevich. Ilya, by the way, became world junior champion a little bit later. And Danny Edelman, and I'm forgetting the 6, it'll come to me at some point. So he played the 6 of us. And as a condition of our playing the games, we all had to send to Gary our last 50 or 60 tournament games so that he could prepare for us. And he did, because he's Gary Kasparov, he did an incredible job of preparing for us. And in fact, Gary pinpointed an opening that I had played against Boris Golko, where I had tried a new move, and Golko had played the natural move, but incorrect. And Gary found the correct move and got the advantage against me. But I was able to trick Gary, and obviously if it had been a one-on-one, Gary would have won the game, but it's a very nice game, and because he was distracted, he thought he had found the winning continuation, but I was able to see a little bit farther and was able to win a nice game.
I mean, we're so curious. Is it possible to see the game on the board we have here?
Sure. Okay, so let's see. So I was black.
Okay.
And so he played the English. This was after he had played his World Championship match against Karpov, where Gary had been playing the English a lot. So he's played
the Sevier one.
Exactly. Yes, the one where Gary famously had to win the 24th game.
Where he played the English and won.
Yes,
that
where he played the English.
Yes.
And so he played c4, e5, and he played g3, and I played knight f6, and he played like this. And so we get this position. Like this, and castles, knight c6, and queen a4. Afterwards, the next day, Gary told me that this is actually probably the best move to stop bishop e3. But we didn't all have engines at that time, so I just played natural castles. And now he played bishop e3. And this is how my Gulko had been white and I'd been black in the World Open in 1987.
Oh, so Gulko had played bishop e3.
Yes, Gulko had played bishop e3. And in this position, I played this move. Mm-hmm. And Gulko had played this. Bishop f4, and I believe then I played bishop c5 and I equalized. But Gary played bishop d4, which is correct, I think. Yeah. I seem to remember looking this up afterwards, and I think actually this position is still okay for black, but you probably should not play this move, which is what I played. Very natural, though, of course.
Yeah, I mean, that's a key bishop that you want.
Key bishop, right? Knight takes d4. And so now we see this position, and of course I've got this key bishop, and yet it's obviously this pawn is weak, and if white just gets a little bit of time to consolidate with knight c3 and rook d1 and so forth, it's going to be difficult. So I played queen b6 to hit here, and Gary played knight c3. And now I played queen h6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going for the mate.
I'm going for it. And Gary played the correct move. He played h4. In this position, if you play h3,
right, then
after knight f6, you can play g4, but black is going to get a certain amount of compensation here, even if you lose this pawn. So it's a little bit tricky. So he played h4, and I played g5.
Wow.
And he played knight takes d5 and bishop d8. And so now we have the critical position. So now, first of all, if white plays f3, in this position, actually black has reasonable compensation. And of course, you can understand why he would not want to do this.
Right.
Now, the correct move, and the move that I'm sure Gary would have played if it had been a tournament game, and also the move that I think Magnus Carlsen would have played almost automatically, is knight f3. And the key here is after takes, knight takes, bishop takes, and queen takes, the key move to see here is queen f4. And now you're stopping this mate.
Right.
And you also have threats here. And if you play bishop e6, you have knight c7. And now, like on rook c8, for example, you have f3. And this works out well for white. You can see that, like, this position, you don't have to lose material as black, but this is going to be a very difficult position. This was the correct way for Gary to play, and he would have had a very large advantage. But it's not so obvious. And in this position, Gary instead came up with what he thought was a clear refutation of my attack, but it just turned out he didn't see quite far enough. He played rook c1, and I played pawn takes, and now he plays rook takes bishop. This is his idea.
Is there some, what's happening?
What, it's not obvious to you? So the point here is now
rook c8.
If rook c8, knight f5.
Oh, right.
Right? I think there may also be queen d7, I'm not sure, but knight f5 is very clear, right? Because you've got queen takes, just quickly.
Right, and knight at 6.
Yeah, so of course you can't do this because of check, and if you come here, you simply have queen takes and knight check in here. So, so rook c8. Let's get this all in the right places here. Sorry. So rook takes c8, and so now I play pawn takes pawn.
Actually, to do this against Gary, you would have needed a lot of confidence, right? Because you're kind of going against his calculation.
Yes, that's true. Although at the same time, oh, by the way, I think actually he did the other rook. I apologize. You'll see in a moment it doesn't really make a difference. So apologize for that. And then knight f3, right? He has to defend against mate. And then knight h2.
Wow.
And so now he comes here to defend the rook. And knight takes knight check, right? And so he has to play pawn takes, right? And now pawn takes pawn check, and king. Oh, you know what? I apologize for those watching. Let me set this up correctly. Okay. I forgot to play rook takes rook at some point, so it's very important to throw in rook takes rook. It comes earlier here. Sorry. So we'll go back just so. So.
Rook c1,
yeah.
gh4.
Rook c1, gh4. We're in this position, right? Rook c1, right. Gh4, rook c8, hg, knight f3, knight h2 here, rook takes rook, knight f3 check. Pawn takes, because of course if bishop takes, this is checkmate.
Yes.
So pawn takes, pawn check. So, and now in this position, king f1. Not king takes, because queen h4 check, right?
Oh, nice one.
Queen takes, bishop takes, rook, and this square is covered by the bishop. So here, now, do you see the winning move for black? This was the position Gary had calculated. He thought he was just winning this position, but in fact, black is winning this.
So completely. Maybe the viewers should pause the video here and try to think. Black to play and win, right?
Black to play and win.
I'm actually tempted by queen h2.
It's the right idea, it's the wrong way.
Uh-huh. By the way, what happens to queen d2?
Correct. This is the move. And so now, of course, I'm threatening checkmate, and obviously you can't come back with the rook because it's covered.
Right.
And now the key is if queen e4, check, takes, check here.
It's tricky bishop h4.
Not this way because you'd get the rook back, right, but this way and take the rook and this is covered.
Yeah.
And so here Gary realized he was losing. He tried to get tricky here. He played knight e7 check, I believe. And then I just want to let, he's either knight e7, oh, no, that's right, of course. He played knight f6 check, excuse me. And I played king g7, right? And so now, of course, I'm still threatening this. Now, if he plays queen e4, now I do this, and now I come this way and win, right? So, and then he played knight e8 check, and now I come here. And now he played this move, but now I have this.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's pretty, right?
Yeah.
It's complete massacre on the dark squares. Like this bishop is nothing.
Wow.
And he resigned here.
Wow. What a game.
Yeah, it's a crazy game. I'm very proud. Of course, I'm very proud to have beaten, Gary Kasparov in a game like this.
But it's not the first world champion you had beaten. Yeah, you had also beaten Tal before that. Or was it after?
No, it was after. It was after. I played Mikhail Tal in this very place, in the Mechanics Institute. Oh. It was the first time I came to San Francisco. It's the first time I came to know the Mechanics Institute. It's 1990. And I played Mirata, and it was just in the room over there where, because the tournament was actually being held down the road, but we had to reschedule our game, I forget why, and so we rescheduled it for in here. I played white against Tal. It was the funny thing against Tal is that was actually an end game. Never gave Tal a chance to sacrifice anything, but it was a nice game, and you know, so of course I'm proud of that one too.
Amazing, amazing. But apart from chess, you also had a very illustrious career in, was it investing, trading?
So I've been a business person. I worked in business for some years, and then I worked in finance. I had my own hedge fund for some years. So I've been an investor. And you may not know this, but I've actually become a politician. I'm running for public office in California. I'm running for California Insurance Commissioner.
Wow.
So for the last 8 years, I've become very involved in politics and you know, sort of civic and policy activity in San Francisco and in California. And this year, I decided to throw myself into the race for California Insurance Commissioner. I actually worked in a bank for several years, building an auto and home insurance brokerage business. And then as an investor, I invested in insurance, among other things. So I have a fair amount of knowledge and experience in the space. And in the state of California, the insurance commissioner is elected, and so I'm running for California Insurance Commissioner. We have our insurance markets in California are in some trouble, and so I'm running to see if I can fix them. So yeah, it's a fun career.
I mean, to be able to be good at so many things is not easy. Like, you know, it requires, like I know this guy, I mean, you have also heard of him, Josh Waitzkin.
Of course.
And
I know Josh well.
He basically was very good at chess.
Yep.
I mean, could have very well become a strong player, but at some point left it after becoming an IM, but then went on to this push hands and you know, became the world champion there. And then he wrote this book called Art of Learning.
Yeah.
And I see that similar pattern in you. You achieved so much and excelled at many things that you've dabbled in. Is there some kind of a secret there, or you know, how do you get so good at what you do?
I think you have to have a passion for things, and then just be willing to throw yourself into it and just really try to learn and just go for it. And I don't know what to say. I think I've been fortunate to have been able to find several things to really throw myself into. But I will say that chess players have done this. I mean, it's, you know, there are a number of chess players who have been good chess players and then gone on to do other things. Ken Rogoff,
yes,
for example, became one of the top economists in the world. Miguel Najdorf had a very successful business career. You know, there's a number of chess players, I think, who have gone on to do other things, and I guess I'm just part of that of that legacy.
And somehow, did you always try to connect chess with what you did? Like, for example, in the investing and so on, I read that you were also like on good terms with Warren Buffett, and somehow there was chess introduced in their company, and you used to play simul. Like, is that true?
Well, here's what I would say. I think whenever you do something, you have to do the thing, right? Whether it's investing, you do investing. If you do business, and politics, do politics. And chess, of course, you do chess. But chess was first. And so in my mind, chess is with me. It's with me every single day. I'm sure it will be with me for my entire life. And so I'm always, somewhere in my brain, there's some neurons always flashing, thinking about chess. And so I think you can't help but make some connections. At the same time, the way to become good at anything you do is to do the thing, right? Like, and do chess, do business, do investing, do policy analysis or politics or whatever it may be, economics, do the thing. And chess is just the lens, I think, that I bring to it. That plus the discipline and the confidence of knowing that if you just apply yourself and really work at it, you can figure it out and you can do it.
It's amazing. I think that's also somehow, you know, this prodigy of India, Parimarjan Negi,
yes,
who at some point was close to 2700, but then gave up chess and then went to Stanford, with MIT, Stanford, and then made like a great career. And he said, like, chess gave him this thing that you can really apply yourself and learn anything and so on. And when you grind for like 5 hours, 6 hour games, that really helps you to do other things.
I believe that. I do believe that. And by the way, can I say that it has been a pleasure and just a marvel to watch India and watch the chess development, the explosion of talent and love for chess that's come out of India over the last couple of decades. It's just incredible. It's just amazing. So, because it may be hard to believe, but when I was working with Vishy, with Anand, Anand was unusual in India. Like you didn't have somebody like Anand. Now you're overflowing with these extraordinary chess players. It's just wonderful.
Vishy has played a big role in it.
I'm sure
just
he must
try and be at the top for like over 3 decades.
Yeah,
and that inspired a lot of young talents.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. Because do you follow chess closely even now, or?
Oh sure,
you do.
Oh sure. I mean, I don't know. Closely is maybe not quite the right word, but I enjoy it and I follow it for sure.
So here's my question to you, because you've seen so many different fields growing and so on. Where do you think is chess headed? And we are at a time where it's such a phase where you can see like there's this classical world championship, the FIDE cycle, suddenly freestyle chess came in backed by Magnus. We had a big announcement 2-3 days ago that this total chess world championship backed by Norway chess has come in, and like there's rapid blitz, but there's also classical. What's your feeling here? Where is chess headed?
Well, first, I think it's an incredible time for chess, because what's so wonderful at this moment in chess is the engine not only can help us discover so much, but it can also open the game for people who just know the moves to follow, to know what's happening. The most important thing to really enjoy a sport is the anticipation. Will they do it? Will they find the move? Will they hit the ball? Will they cross the finish line? Whatever that moment of anticipation is. And for many years, the big problem chess had was you had to be at a very high level just to even hope to understand what was happening in the game at the moment. But that's no longer true. Now we can watch the best chess players, and with the engine, the eval bar, you can see what's happening. You can see what the best move is, and you can participate in that anticipation. I think that's an incredible boon to chess. And you add to that, of course, the internet, which just makes chess available in so many different ways. I think it's an incredible time.
I love it that you like this part, because many purists say this is ruining chess, because now you no longer have that mysticism in chess. It's gone. Now even the world champion, when he plays, the amateurs can find mistakes in his play and so on.
Well, I will tell you, I'm old enough to remember when I was playing chess, when we were all playing chess, we felt like we were discovering the truth in our games. And now we realize there was way more than we ever understood, and that we were only scratching the surface. I was describing to my wife, when I started to play a few chess tournaments again, I played in the US Senior Chess Championship, for example. I had to spend several months just to get myself back up to some basic level of opening knowledge and so forth. I was describing to my wife that it felt to me like now we have bulldozers in the chess engine, whereas when I was playing 30 years ago, we had teaspoons. And so, like, it's literally, I'm not exaggerating, literally the case that with an engine and a couple of hours, I can excavate the chess position and discover as much as it would have taken years for the best grandmasters. I remember studying the Grunfeld. You know, this exchange with rook b1, queen a5 check, and queen takes a2, which is basically a draw, right? Like the engine is just like 0.00, 0.00. I remember when Kramnik and Kasparov and Shirov and Anand and all of these people were figuring out the best moves at each moment, and the engine just immediately tells you what it is. So it's true that in one sense the mystery is gone, although it's not completely gone because we're discovering so much more than we ever knew was there. But I think the exchange, like that trade, is a very good trade, because what we get in return is the ability for people to appreciate the game in the moment. And it also opens up so many other ways of playing. So you were asking, where are we going in chess? I don't know, but a few thoughts. One is, I think we're going to continue to have many different formats of chess. I think that freestyle has a lot of potential, because it takes away the ability to just know sitting down the opening from sort of all the way through. I think we're kind of at a moment which is still there's still some mystery in the game, because the engine has not completely discovered and cataloged all of the openings for us yet, but it's coming. I mean, I remember when I was studying for the US Senior Championship, I was doing some analysis on the white side of the rouser. I used to play the rouser as black. I was preparing for the rouser as white against Dmitry Gurevich. And I spent a couple of hours analyzing this position that had never been played before, but with the help of the engine. And I was like, oh my goodness, there's like all of this possibility that we never knew back in the 1980s and 1990s. Well, eventually all of that is going to get cataloged. All of that is going to be discovered, and the engine, it'll all be in some gigantic ECO to the 99th power database that's in there. And that's why I think this freestyle is very interesting, because it will take that away. But also faster time controls. And then from time to time, people will play more classical chess, and then it will be this challenge of, how do you pose the tricky problems for your opponent?
The memory would become a big part of it.
Yeah, it's already a huge part,
for sure.
If you can
surprise someone,
yes,
then it's a huge edge.
Yes, but also these other formats that take the ability to surprise out. Like, I just think this game is so wonderful, and there's so much to it. I think we have many, many, many decades, if not centuries, of enjoyment ahead of us. And I think we have, frankly, the computer to thank for that. I think it's unlocking a lot to it. I'm a big fan.
Wow, Patrick, it was an amazing interview. Just talking to you, how you're connecting the present world of chess from your historical landscape that you have of chess was incredible. Thank you so much for giving us this time.
Thank you. And I just want to say one more time how much I really appreciate you, and how much I really appreciate your videos. I enjoy them very much. You are a part of what's helping chess to come to so many more people, and helping many more people to enjoy and appreciate the game. So thank you.
That's very kind of you. Thank you so much.